Just like train tracks, in order for a train to move and to move without accident and to move well, you need to lay down the rails. You can't just drop a bunch of rails at once. They're going to be all over the place. But if you lay down the rails one by one, the train will be able to move. Think of habits as rails, and think of you as the parent laying down the rails for your child. You get it? Hello friends, it's Laura from CoolMomAndCollected.com, and in today's video, we are talking all about habits. Now, if you guys are parents like me, you might be feeling a little weary of all of the many habits you feel is your responsibility to teach your children. And let me tell you, there is a lot. I, for one, am constantly juggling a bunch of habits at once, just feeling very overwhelmed trying to get my children to learn. Until now, I found an amazing Charlotte Mason inspired resource that I could not wait to share with you. It is called Laying Down the Rails by Sonia Schaefer. That is the lovely lady from the channel, Simply Charlotte Mason, and she has a wealth of information over there. You guys can check her out. Actually visiting some friends, and another friend that was there, I haven't seen her and her children in a while, and I was pretty much shocked by her children's behavior, respect. I mean, I know, don't get me wrong, all of our kids probably obey a little better in front of other people, but it was just very consistent. And I asked her, I said, first of all, Mama, props to you because one, your children are beautiful. Two, they seem very matured from like last year. Like, what have you been doing? She said, laying down the rails. She said, I bought a 3-pack, which I immediately added to my cart because I really was taken aback by her children's behavior and temperament and just the way that they were acting. And she said, you know, I found out these books, they're like Charlotte Mason inspired, and we've been working on habits one at a time, and it's just been wonderful. As I said, I added them to my Amazon cart and ordered immediately after that conversation. And we have been studying habits ever since. So I'm gonna take you guys now through these 3 wonderful books. I'm going to put my affiliate links down below. Do you need to buy all 3 of these? No, but I will say, it really was helpful for me. I did buy these with my own money, and I do want to review them for you guys. I am actively using them with my children, and I'm going to tell you why. They are so unique and kind of against the grain of what you as a parent might think is necessary to develop good habits. So let's get into it. Now, the first book that I started reading before I got into teaching my children habits was Laying Down the Rails for Yourself by Sonia Schaefer. Now, if you guys have ever read Atomic Habits, which I haven't, this book has very similar concepts, but so much easier. I flew through this. Just one of those books that after each chapter, you feel I received something of value. The read is so satisfactory and applicable to a homeschool mom because it's straight up saying, hey, if you want your children to learn good habits, you're going to have to learn those good habits for yourself. And I think that makes perfect sense. We can't expect our children to have these incredible habits when they may be viewing something very different from what we're asking them to do. I have straight up written down like everything in my life that I want to work on for myself. I'm that kind of person. I'm that self-help person. While everyone's reading romance novels and all these things, I'm reading self-help spiritual books. This approach has really made tackling habits doable because instead of tackling every single habit, like I said, I'll write every single habit down and I'll go, okay, from now on, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing. It's very overwhelming, and setting goals that large can sometimes discourage you very early on in your journey of trying to achieve something. Instead of tackling a ton of tasks at once, just tackle one habit at a time. You may be taken aback, like, what? But I'm working on this. My kids have so many issues that I need to work on. Well, guess what? So do mine. And we can do this one at a time. So instead of doing a ton of habits at once, they actually recommend take one habit at a time and spend 6 weeks. I think they even say 6 to 10 or 6 to 12, depending on like how necessary it is. But take 6 weeks implementing that habit for your child. Now, the cool thing is, if you read this book first, you will be really motivated to lay that example as a parent yourself. And so I do think that this book is very valuable. It was very valuable for me, and it really did get me excited. Doing that for yourself, you're going to start seeing what is the squeaky wheel in your life that is kind of offsetting everything else. And instead of being burdened by everything, you just work on that one squeaky wheel. We need to glance over our lives and identify the areas that are not running smoothly. What are the sticky or squeaky areas of your life? I think of a squeaky area as one that just doesn't seem to run as smoothly as it could. We are sometimes satisfied to push the sticky or squeaky wheel cart through life. Ever been in a grocery store, you get the sticky wheel, people are staring at you, and you're like, yeah, get over it, I'm not going back to the front. You're just going to have to listen to this if you want to be in this aisle, okay? So we don't want to make the effort to do something about it. That's when we need a compelling idea. So this book basically takes you through how do you start to get that motivation in you to push forward and to tackle these habits. Well, they say one is a compelling idea. What is it? To keep a calm demeanor and voice around your children? You know, that's what that's what I like over the rails, over Atomic Habits is, yeah, this is a big book that's going to motivate you maybe through all areas of life. But this one really gives great examples for parenting, for homeschooling. The habit is like a lever. It enables you to do something you wouldn't naturally do on your own. You might mentally dismiss some actions as unattainable to you. Oh, it's too heavy for the way you're built, if you will. I'll never be able to stay calm in stressful moments. It's just not in my nature. Don't let your natural tendencies limit your life. Habit can become stronger than natural tendencies. It's like a lever that against all natural odds can lift what you didn't think was possible. A lever is a powerful tool. I do think it's awesome to walk it out first. So I will put that down in the description box. Say you're like, okay, I'm pretty good with habits. Let's just get to teaching my children, please. Then I would recommend getting Simply Charlotte Mason Presents Laying Down the Rails, a Charlotte Mason Habits Handbook by Sonia Schaefer. She will literally list all of the many habits that Charlotte Mason recommends your child know, which I don't know about you, but I love lists, and I just love that they do this. I don't have to write down, what habits should my kids have? I mean, you can always add to the list, but this is a very thorough list, and I love me some thoroughness. They're split up into different sections, so decency and proprietary habits, mental habits, moral habits, physical habits, religious habits. You can see that there's quite a lot more habits than you would think of just like not putting your elbows on the table. These things go deep. And it's pretty cool to get to curate these things in our children from a young age. Not only will it talk about how to cultivate good habits, but it will go through every single habit that there is, giving you bullet points that will motivate your teaching your children. Just to give you an idea of this, I'm actually going to bring you to the first habit that we studied, and that was obedience. Now, Charlotte Mason said that the top 3 habits that you want to instill in your children are obedience, attention, and truthfulness. Now, you might think, really, is this important? Like, I have so many other things that, like, this is more pressing or that is more pressing. But obedience is so important because it makes sense in the grand scheme of things to really work on just getting your child to gain that respect and that obedience for you as the parent. And I think when they do respect and know how to obey you as a parent all the way, right away, with a happy heart, when they learn to do that, then I think their ears are more open. Then you work on the habit of attention and you start to learn how to get your child to fix their gaze of mind on what you're saying. This is very helpful during homeschool, during just, again, being able to have good attention. And that also increases the obedience. And then truthfulness. That's already something we instill in our children. And thank God they have been so receptive and wonderful before even starting this book. And I've seen the fruit of that, guys. Right now we are on the second habit, which is attention. Again, although I might have wanted to maybe do a different habit, I see the value of attention. And I see how attention really helps with obedience because they all kind of go hand in hand. This was the first one we did. They'll give you obedience and they'll give you the definition, submitting to the restraint or commands of authority. You'll basically be able to read some of Charlotte's thoughts on obedience. And she'll have very easy, guys, just very easy to go through numbers. You know, she might have, let's see how many points she has for obedience. She has 15 points, okay? Some of those are make obedience a top priority, even more important than academics. First and infinitely the most important is obedience. And it'll show you where in Charlotte Mason was this supported. Now, obviously, the first thing we go to is the Bible. It helps that, you know, what she uses is based strongly on God. So obviously Charlotte Mason is not my God. Yeshua, Jesus, Son of God, that's my savior, okay? Remember that your ultimate goal is a child who desires to obey. There'll even be some notes, give you some thoughts, and then at the end, it'll give you questions to ask about obedience. Do I make obedience top priority, even more important than academics? Am I treating willfulness the same as disobedience? Do I realize that I am on assignment from God to teach my child to obey? You know, there's such good thought-provoking questions for parents. I had to highlight this, mamas. Who here can relate? The word no carries a lot more meaning when spoken by a parent who also knows how to say yes. If you're saying no all the time, it's really not going to mean a whole lot of something. But if you say yes and you know how to say yes, then when you say no, it's going to be better respected than if you're just saying no all the time. So that's basically what this book does, laying down the rails. And as you can see, it goes through all of these different types of habits. And we can see them all here, like I mentioned before. The next book I want to recommend is Laying Down the Rails for Children. It's a habit training companion by Lanaya Gore. So this is just something that works really, really well with this book here. This book is going to help you learn how habits are formed, select one habit to work on, gather your thoughts in a parent prep section that they have here, and then once or twice a week, you're going to read a lesson together. I do once a week. So on Monday in our homeschool morning around the table time, this will straight up walk you through, and it's very helpful. I'll show you guys. Then every day, you're helping your children apply what they learn by practicing a new habit. And I highlighted this. As you go about life, catch each other displaying your current habit and encourage each other to continue. When you notice the habit not being followed, take time to stop and instruct the child on the right way to handle the habit, reminding him or her of specific points that you have discussed. Sometimes I wondered, why 6 weeks? That's so long. That's going to take forever to learn all these habits. What if we just do 2 weeks? The reason it's 6 weeks is because I don't believe it's just the child that needs the discipline. I think it's the parent too. And how many of you think you can do a better job at applauding your child when they're doing the right thing, not just when they're doing the wrong thing? I do. You are investing in a skill that will then carry the next habit. So I just want to encourage you with that. Don't try to just squeeze your way through this. Take your time, enjoy planting these seeds that are going to help your children just become better listeners and better learners. I'll give you a little look-ski on what we did with obedience because it's really going to give you a good idea on how this really works. Every single week that I'm going over the habit with my child on Mondays, there will be an activity in this book that will spark the child's obedience. They really go well hand in hand. So I'm going to show you that now as soon as I get to it. Where are you? As you can see, it'll tell you read detailed thoughts about obedience on pages 96 to 101. That's where this book comes in. So I'll read those pages. I'll make sure that I'm familiar on everything that it says about obedience. I feel really inspired after this. And now I'll talk to my kids, say on the first day of the 6 weeks, once a week that we're going to be doing this. What are our goals for the habit? Tell my children, hey guys, so something new that we're going to be adding to our homeschool and to our lives is we're going to be building habits. They're going to build your character. They're going to help us keep a peace-filled home for you to have a peace-filled life. I kind of get them excited, and truly, I'm excited too. I can't wait to have better habits being cultivated in my children. The first thing that I'll go over is goals for this habit and steps to get there. So I'll tell them, okay guys, our goals for this habit, we're going to obey the first time right away, all the way, and with a happy heart. When mommy and daddy are giving you guys instruction, I want you to say, yes, mom, or yes, dad, not, yeah, but I got to do this first, or wait, I need to do this. I want to hear, yes, mom, yes, dad, and I want you guys to do that right away. Obedience gives us more peace, freedom, and fun. So when you guys think about obedience, I don't want you to think, oh, I have to do this. This is what I have to do. I want you guys to realize when I obey, this home is so peaceful. When I obey, I get so much more freedom because I'm earning my parents' trust. And when I obey, we have so much more fun because there's less strife and we can just have more fun outside, baby, as a family. I try to keep it short. The next thing is a person or story from my life that demonstrates this habit. I didn't write anything here, probably because I still had to think about it, and I don't like to write in books unless I know for sure. You guys can think of a personal story and share that. The kids usually are really interested in that. I don't know, stories about mom and dad or grandma and grandpa. Those things are really, really exciting for them. And then there's additional stories or poems or quotations, Bible verses that I want to use. And that is, I chose, delayed obedience is disobedience, okay? And this is convicting for mommy too, guys, because you know what? Sometimes God calls me to do something and I don't do it right away. And even if I get it done later, it's still disobedience. Obedience is the highest form of worship. The way we show God that we love him is through our obedience to him. Now, where man is imperfect, and obviously we have to make sure what we are obeying is what God would want us to obey. You don't do something just because an adult tells you to do it, unless it is honoring to God. Obviously, you want to make, you can mention that in obedience. You don't want your kids to just think, I obey everyone. No. We still have God at our height. We still have Jesus, Yeshua at our height. We even mention Bible verses like John 14:23, and we talk about that. Now, other activities that we can do to practice this habit, and I just had an idea, play Mommy Says. We don't say Simon Says, because I'm like, I don't know who Simon is. I don't need my 2-year-old listening to Simon. She needs to listen to her mama. So I do play Mommy Says. My mom's always doing like Simon Says with them, and they're like, we don't listen to Simon. And my mom gets so frustrated. It's very funny. I love her. And there's celebration ideas. So for instance, I can tell my children, and guys, if I see some really good behavior from you guys, if I see a lot of effort and just really trying, even if you catch yourself and you fix it during this 6 weeks that we're going to be doing this, we can go to the diner. We can have a movie night. There's different ways that we like to have fun and motivate the kids. So talking about those things gets them excited, because they might not be able to see the character fruit that they will get at the end, but, they'll be excited to go to the diner with their family or have experiences like that. On the first day, I do explain, it's a little longer, I do explain to my children the parent prep, because I just want us all to be on the same page. And then I go right into lesson 1, which I love that these lessons are so short. Lesson 1 here was read the definition and discuss obedience. Share with your children any goals you identified for this habit. For instance, it's expected that obedience will occur the first time a command is spoken. Also get their input on changes they think need to be made. And I asked my children, and they said, well, no attitudes, and we should practice self-control. So I said, great, and I wrote that down. We also read the biblical principle found in Ephesians 6:1-3 from our preferred version, talking about how children should respect your parents. I made a little note here. We needed to work on resistance, talking back, whining, lack of self-control, not thinking before you act, things that even us adults still struggle with. So that'll help you give a little grace to your child. I mean, can we all say we don't do this? Some of this is very relatable. The next second week, then we'll have another lesson. I mean, I just love how this is laid out. You're reading about, what's the point we want to get across? That willfulness can be the same thing as disobedience. I can relate to that myself. I will to do something else other than what I know is the right thing. You can do these lessons once or twice a week. Obviously, if you do it once a week, it'll take 12 weeks. And if you do it twice a week, then you'll probably get done in 6 weeks. It really just depends on you. I just like that each week I have a very clear lesson and inspiration laid out for me. And it just works really, really well. There's like great stories in here, poetry. You could discuss quotes that will encourage your children in these habits. Everything you might research as a parent to try to make obedience apply to your children, it's already here. I hope that me sharing these books with you guys could inspire you, that if you are feeling overwhelmed by the habits that you have to teach your children, we all are. It's a very, very big, not burden, but blessing. I mean, it's an honor to be the ones to get to do these things for our children. And honestly, if children teaches me anything, I almost feel like I'm being reborn to learn again myself. I feel like I'm being given a second chance to make choices that maybe I didn't do when I was younger, or just to, I have this conviction that I really need to be walking what I'm expecting of my children, because how can I expect them to do what I am unable to do? And obviously none of us can do anything apart from Christ walking in our life, the Holy Spirit in our life. I want the desire of my life to show that I am seeking these things, that I'm not just asking my children to do things that I myself am not willing to attempt. And so I hope that this could encourage you. I do think that this is awesome to incorporate into your homeschool. A lot of truth, beauty, and goodness in here. And I think that it will inspire you guys. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope to hear a little bit more from you guys, how your school year's going. Are you implementing any habits? If so, how? Does anybody have any success stories that they want to share from these books? As I told you, my friend had a success story, and I myself have seen success. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I would love to have you guys along my homeschool journey. Remember, take a deep breath, rely on the Lord in your weakness. He is strong. And remember to stay cool, calm, and collected. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.